ॐ सहनाववतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावदितमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Om, may He protect us both, teacher and student together. May He nourish us both together. May we work conjointly with great energy. May our studies be vigorous and effective. May we not mutually dispute, or may we not hate any. Om, let there be peace in me. Let there be peace in my environment, and let there be peace in the forces that act on me. Dear students, today we are starting to discuss the injuries around the shoulder joint, and it includes the discussion on the fracture clavicle, injuries of acromioclavicular joint, injuries of sternoclavicular joint, and finally the fractures of the proximal humerus. Let us start with the discussion on the fracture clavicle. Now the various points on which we will be discussing includes: 1. The origin of the word clavicle. 2. Its anatomical spatial features. 3. Functions of clavicle. 4. Mechanism of injury. 5. The sites of fracture. 6. The classification. 7. Clinical features. 8. Investigations including radiography. 9. The treatment of the fracture clavicle principles, conservative versus surgical treatment, indications for surgery and various methods, and 10. The complications. So the clavicle is derived from the Latin root clavis, meaning key. It looks like a key. Clavicle is S-shaped and is linked to the music symbol clavicula, and hence the name clavicle. Now it is the first bone to ossify in the body. It has got two primary centers, ossification centers. Clavicle is the only horizontal bone, long bone in our body. The only horizontal long bone in our body, and it is the only long bone ossifying from membrane. Now it is the only link between the axial and the appendicular skeleton. Clavicle is the commonest bone to fracture in children, and it invariably malunites. Now it has got 4 important functions. What are those functions? 1. It increases the arm strength mechanism, and it protects the neurovascular bundle consisting of subclavian vessels and the brachial plexus. It gives attachment to important muscles around shoulder like deltoid, trapezius, pectoralis major etc., and it acts as a strut. It braces the shoulder back during the rest and motion. Coming to the mechanism of injury to the clavicle, injury could be due to direct trauma or due to fall on the point of the shoulder. This is the commonest mode of injury, accounting for 91% of the cases. What is that? The direct trauma due to fall on the point of the shoulder. Then direct trauma over the clavicle due to RTA, direct injury etc., as what is shown in the third picture, accounts for 8% of the cases. And indirect fall, as what is seen in the first picture, on outstretched hand accounts for 1% of the cases. Now coming to the site of fracture, as what you see in this particular diagram, the red arrow indicating 85% of the fracture clavicle occurs at the junction of middle and outer third. It has been shown by the red arrow. Now 5% of occur at the medial end of the clavicle, as shown by the yellow arrow. And lateral end fracture is uncommon, about 10%. The distal 1/3, it is shown by the blue arrow. Now, Allman's classification is widely used for classifying fracture clavicle. Now, as per this classification, there are three groups described: group 1, group 2, group 3. Now, you can see in the first diagram. And group 1 is fractures involving middle 1/3 of the shaft. That is the commonest type. 85% of the fracture occur in group 1. Group 2 is a fracture involving the lateral 1/3, or the lateral, what we call as the distal third, distal to the attachment of coracoclavicular ligament. Fracture occurring in the lateral end, distal to the attachment of coracoclavicular ligament. And group 3 are the fractures involving medial third of the clavicle. Now group 2 is further subdivided into 3 subgroups, and this subdivision was proposed by Neer. And they are type A, where, as you can see in this particular diagram, here you can see here the type A, coracoclavicular ligaments are intact. Type B, the coracoclavicular ligament are ruptured. And type 3, you can see that the fracture is extending into the acromioclavicular joint. Now, Robinson, Neer and Craig, they also have proposed their 3 different classification for the fracture clavicle, as what is shown in this particular diagram. This is the Robinson's classification, this is Neer's, and this is Craig's classification. Clinical features: the patient presents with pain, swelling, deformity and inability to raise the shoulder. Rarely, the patient may present with a pseudo-paralysis of the affected arm. Now, coming to the radiography, following views are recommended. One is the routine AP view of the clavicle. Now you see, this is the routine AP view of the clavicle. Now when the fracture is doubtful, that time we ask the routine AP view clavicle with shoulders braced and elevated like a lord. We call it as lordotic view. And then the distal third of clavicle fracture, they require a special radiographic technique. We call it as 10-degree cephalic tilt view. And coming to the principles of treatment of the fracture clavicle, before proceeding to the treatment proper, one needs to understand 2 important distracting forces acting on the fracture fragments in the clavicle, making the treatment very difficult. Now you can see in this particular diagram that here the sternocleidomastoid muscles, and here is the weight of the body which is causing the distraction. The sternocleidomastoid muscle pulls the medial end upwards, whereas the pectoralis major and the gravity acting through the arm pulls down the lateral end. Now to counter this above 2 detrimental forces, the shoulder should be braced up and back, and the arm should be supported with the while you are treating the fracture clavicle. And hence, coming to the conservative treatment, obviously we can always divide the treatment into 2 categories: the conservative and operative treatment. Now conservative treatment is the treatment of choice in the fracture clavicle and consists of following methods. The first thing is cuff and collar sling. For undisplaced fracture, now as you can see in this first picture, this is what we call as a cuff and collar sling. And second is the strapping of fracture site after reduction of fracture by elevating the arm, bracing the shoulder upwards and backwards. It also gives results both in children and adults. Now there are other methods described in the past, and they include Sabre method, which consists of rigid dressing over the fractures. This is no longer used. Similarly, Billington's yoke method, it uses a plaster of Paris over a well padded figure of head dressings. That is also not used nowadays. Now the most common method we use here is the figure of 8, which popularly used, as shown in this figure. You can see the second and third picture here. Now it acts by retracting the shoulder girdle, minimizes the overlap, and allows more anatomical healing. It does not immobilize the fracture, but acts by serving as a reminder to the patient to hold the shoulder up and back, neutralizing the forces mentioned above. Now if they allow the shoulder to slump forward, then the support cuts into the anterior axilla and reminds them to hold the shoulder back. And hence, the ideal treatment plan would be for newborn to pre-ambulatory children. They all treated symptomatically. Simply binding the arm to the chest is enough. For ambulatory stage, that is from 2 years to 12 years, figure of 8 bandage prepared using the roller bandage and cotton in the hospital itself, that is tightened after 3 days and again after 1 week. Now for above 12 years to maturity, now there are commercially available figure of 8 bandages, harnesses, which are used. Coming to the surgical treatment of the fractured clavicle, surgery is rarely indicated and consists of mainly the open reduction and rigid internal fixation. Now indications include, there are almost 8 indications. 1. Open fractures. 2. Neurovascular injuries. 3. Fracture fragment piercing the skin. 4. Non-union. 5. Lateral fourth fracture. 6. Floating shoulder. 7. Soft tissue interposition. And 8. Displaced epiphyseal lesions in the children. Now there are more specific indications for open reduction internal fixation of clavicle, and it includes, there are mainly 3. Shortening or destruction of the fragment for more than 2 cm. Second, more than 100% displacement or fragmentation. And 3. Bilateral clavicular fractures. Now, surgical treatment specific indications we have seen. Methods of internal fixation includes intramedullary fixation either with the K-wire or rigid plate and screw fixation with the AO semitubular plate or a pelvic reconstruction plate, and nowadays the latest pre-contoured locking plates is made. Now in the recent advances in the surgical treatment of fractured clavicle includes intramedullary compression clavicular nail, McKeever's threaded intramedullary pin, and external fixator in the open clavicular fractures. Now people have even used the Elizaro instrument for treating the fractured clavicle. Coming to the complications, complications include mainly neurovascular injuries, malunion, its problem and solution we will consider, non-union. Now the neurovascular injury may be immediate due to the direct force or delayed due to very large callus. Now the structures commonly injured are the subclavian vessels and the medial cord of the brachial plexus, through which the ulnar nerve is derived. Now this occurs in the fracture of middle 1/3 of the clavicle, which is the most common. Now did you know the ulnar nerve is the commonest nerve to be injured in the fracture clavicle due to its compression between it and the first rib. Malunion. Malunion is very common due to difficulty in holding the fractured fragments in position because of the distracting forces already we have discussed. Now it causes only a cosmetic problem and does not usually impair any function, and hence most of the time no treatment is required. However, sometimes some problems are posed by the malunion of the clavicle, and they include: first, the cosmetic complaints; second, orthopedic complaints, that is a frequent episode of shoulder fatigue; third, sleep problem, the patient complains of inability to sleep on that particular side; and fourth, the neurological problem, that is features of thoracic outlet syndrome. Now, remedies are: if faced with this situation, the patient requires corrective osteotomy and rigid internal fixation with either medullary pin or the plate and screws, as what we have already discussed. Now, non-union is rare and it requires open reduction, internal fixation and the bone grafting. With this, we conclude the discussion on the clavicular fracture. But before we end, I want to talk to you about one more important topic. Happy key to lose weight. Now, dear students, one of the commonest problems we are facing in our day-to-day clinical practice of orthopedics is obesity. Eat less and exercise more formula has proved to be the failed formula for controlling the obesity. Of late, I have been working on the latest, most scientific, evidence-based concept of weight loss, Happy Key. You may find few videos on this topic as well on my YouTube channel. The obesity among the medical students is at its peak nowadays. Due to obesity, not only they are bullied, but most of them lose their self-confidence, resulting in deteriorating performance in academics. For all of them, this online video course will be most valuable. If interested, you may visit my Facebook page https://www.facebook.com/thehappykey and my website www.drsudhir.com. You can also contact me on my WhatsApp app number 7997168316. I host regular webinar for the same twice a week, Wednesday and Friday at 8 p.m. and on Sundays it is 12 noon. You may join using following link https://zoom.us/j/8279404308. Thank you for subscribing my channel.